Hey y'all. So we just want to tell you that this is episode 11. Episode 11, and we're going to do something a little bit different today. In fact, it's going to be a lot different. Dom doesn't even really understand what I'm doing.
I don't.
So, wacky number 11. We're going in reverse. So, we'd like to thank you. We would like you to click subscribe, like, comment at the bottom, listen to us on Spotify, and please comment. Tell us what we're doing well, tell us what we're doing wrong, reach out to us, and anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
So, Dom, keeping with the wacky reverse, here's your question for this episode.
All right.
Why are movies so important in our society? Why are movies so important in our society? Why are movies important to you?
I would say movies are just important to society because they help us. Because, like, our imaginations as a child are huge.
Right.
But then as we get older, they kind of dwindle. But then these movies that they come out with kind of inspire us to think back to our imagination and then have that spark that, like, now a lot of adults have their imaginations back. I think imagination is the key to movies being very important to me and I think everyone, because as a kid you envision these things, just like superheroes have been around for a while. So as a kid you're always making up stories in your head and with your friends. But then these movies come out and you're like, it just makes you reminisce about that time.
Okay. But what about, like, non-superhero movies?
I think, like, movies based on true stories that, like, haven't come out, I think are very vital too, so that way you can know that story. Like, this isn't a movie, but The Chosen, the series The Chosen.
Right.
Extremely vital, I think, because we're finally getting to envision everything that Jesus went through in his entire life. We've read about it. There's been some, like, animations about it, but, like, to put it into a...
There's been more than animations.
Okay.
There's been, like, movies about it.
Yes.
A lot of Hollywood Jesus. Okay.
Well, what The Chosen is, but...
Yeah.
I think it's still really cool to see, like, his interactions with the disciples, the different disciples, their interactions with each other. Because you've read about it, you haven't really... And you use your imagination a little bit, but this helps to really embrace that imagination and, like, okay. And now, yes, Hollywood does add some other elements to it that may or may not have happened.
Okay. All right.
But...
Creative liberties. We understand that. Okay.
Yeah.
And now there's also movies that are fiction and
Right.
such, much like your superheroes and such. But I like the idea that you're getting with the imagination, because your imagination can, spin you out of control sometimes, and also, the creativity that you have. Not only you, but you and everyone else. I think about, like, great directors and, someone like Steven Spielberg, who not only do they have a screenplay that they're following in their movie and such, but then they're like, you know what, wait a second. What if we were to have Indiana Jones' hat fly off? And then all of a sudden he picks it up. You see his feet. He picks it up and slowly puts it on his head or something like that. And so, to be able to take their creativity and then put it out onto a movie and such, a screen and such.
And Steven Spielberg is a great director.
Great director. One of the movies that I think about a lot, coming together and such, is Saving Mr. Banks. And that is a story, kind of like a background story of, Walt Disney trying to get the rights to the Mary Poppins? Yeah, the Mary Poppins story. And it's a great movie.
Yeah, it was.
That Tom Hanks was able to do and such. But in this process of that movie, you're able to see kind of the lady who owned Mary Poppins, the right to Mary Poppins, she was saying things like, I don't want that added. I don't want this. And it was neat to see the whole process. And then at the end, at the screening, I believe her name was P.L. Travers, or P.L. Travers was the name of the lady. At the end, she's watching Mary Poppins, who she wrote about for years and decades, come alive on the screen to see what Walt Disney and his people had done in the production. And you could just see in her face. Now, that was a movie about it, but I'm assuming, and I'm guessing too, the creativity of her writing and such to watch it unfold.
Right, because she envisioned everything, but then to see it actually on the screen was just probably really cool for her. Cause
I bet it was.
Her characters have come to life.
They came to life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Movies are huge in our family. We watch movies. The kids have always watched movies. My wife and I, when we first started dating, we would always watch a movie together. She would always fall asleep in the middle of it or at the beginning of it or something. So, but movies are a huge, huge part. And you know what? In fact, on our first date, we actually went and saw Sleepless in Seattle together at the St. Charles movie theater, whatever that place is or something.
Yeah.
So, anyway, all right. Well, thanks for answering the question.
Yeah.
All right. Keeping in reverse, let's jump into our top 5. Our top 5 list this week, brought to us by Dom. Dom wanted to do our top 5 favorite movies.
Of all time.
Yes, of all time. But
So
our top 5 movies.
And this can be from any universe, any...
We're in this universe,
Okay.
dude.
But I mean from the Star Wars universe, Marvel universe, Indiana Jones, any of the
Any genre, you mean?
cinematic universes.
Why are you talking cinematic universe?
Okay.
How about in real life, these are our top 5 favorite movies. Number 5 for Dom.
Alright, let me pull it up.
Actually, since we're going in reverse, should I go first?
Yeah, you can.
All right, number 5 for me. This movie I have seen well over 100 times. Well over 100 times. And I used to work at a video store, and it was rated P... Why are you looking down so much?
All right.
Wow. Number 11. Okay, so I used to work at a video store called Star World Video, and we had to watch PG movies. And if I was working and no one else was there, I'd always put in this movie because I loved it so much. So that's why I saw it hundreds of times. Jaws. The original Jaws with Roy Scheider and...
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank of the other guy's name. But the idea of being able to, watching and the fear that was coming over you. You didn't see the shark until, like an hour into it. Maybe an hour, maybe 45 minutes into it when Mikey was in the pond and all of a sudden, they fall out of the boat.
The fin.
You saw the fin, but you didn't see the actual shark.
Right, and the camera followed, you saw the shark's point of view throughout the beginning scene,
Well, yeah, you saw, going through the water and such, but you didn't actually see it. And don't forget, it starts off with the young lady out in the water, she's swimming, and it's all dark and
Fun
murky.
fact about that, did you know that the actress did not actually know that she would be pulled down by...
I didn't.
The robotic thing, and so her screams in the movie were actually genuine.
Really? That was cool.
I saw something about that on Facebook.
That's neat.
So shout out to the guy who...
Who grabbed the girl from underwater?
No, gave me that information.
Okay, shout out to someone we don't know.
Yeah.
So...
number 4.
No, I'm still talking about Jaws.
Oh, okay, Jaws.
Best line of Jaws, by far, was... You're going to need a bigger boat. By far.
Yeah.
When Chief Brody is putting the chum out in the water, all of a sudden, you see, he makes a comment, why don't you come down here and chum some of this? And all of a sudden, he comes out of the water.
Scares the crap out of
right.
everyone.
And Chief Brody, sits straight back. He's got the cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and he just walks backwards. And he walks into the little cabin where Quint is, and he goes, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." And Quint hops up, looks back, and all of a sudden you see this chopper coming up out of the water, and the other guy comes down, "Hoopa! Hoopa! Get it in gear, Hoopa!" You know, that type of thing. Anyway, I've seen that movie way too much, and that was a Spielberg movie. He did that one.
Yep.
And there was a couple there's a couple things that Easter eggs that Spielberg had in that movie, like when it was nighttime, he had a shooting star kind of go back in the distance, and like literally a couple minutes later, he had a shooting star do that also. He had shooting stars in multiple movies that he's done. Indiana Jones has a couple and such. So anyway, love Jaws. Ready for number 4?
Yeah.
Okay, this one and number 3 I went back and forth on. But this movie, every time it's on TV, we stop and we just turn it on and watch it. Or we're like, if we're going through and we see it, it's like, oh, it's halfway through. Oh, let's just finish it up. Do you know?
Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption.
I was gonna say, yeah, that.
Yep. Morgan Freeman's voice narrating that thing.
Morgan Freeman is amazing.
Incredible. And, you know, Timothy Robbins, who played Andy Dufresne, he was so quiet and so put together. You know, the banker who murdered his wife but didn't actually murder his wife. He was there at Shawshank Prison, wrongfully found guilty and of killing his wife. And just an incredible story, actually written by Stephen King. But it was so well done. I never saw it in the theaters. It wasn't until it came out on video that I saw it the first time. Now, I mean, it's obviously one of my tops, and I just love the storytelling by Morgan Freeman is so amazing. Yeah. And there's just so many iconic moments from the movie, but watching Andy Dufresne crawl through this little pipe that he can barely fit his shoulders through, and then you find out that it is a sewage pipe that he's crawling through, and the idea of crawling 600 yards, or I think it was 600 yards, through this little pipe, and then to burst out of the prison after 19 years of just being brutalized and having some hardships and such. It's just amazing. And then to see the get back that he had against the warden and the guards who were so rough, and then at the end to see Morgan Freeman become free, and Morgan Freeman's voice at the end. To see the Pacific Ocean and my friend Andy Dufresne, just amazing. And then you see them reconnecting. It was such a great movie. All right. Number 3. I love this movie. I haven't seen it in a while, but this movie was one of my favorites by far in college, and it just got me laughing. Showed it to Dom, showed it to all my nephews and such. Tommy Boy.
Yes.
With Chris Farley.
Oh my gosh.
And David Spade. I mean, just hysterical.
Absolutely.
Slapstick humor. Chris Farley at his absolute best as Tommy Boy, a spoiled brat, trying to save, their company, their automotive parts company and such, and just all the goofy things that entail and go with it and such. My favorite line from that movie, by far. A lot of people go to college for 6 years. Yeah, they're called doctors. And then also, did I hear a niner in there? That was going to. All right, number 2. Tombstone. Another classic one that I watched way too many times in college, but just awesome. Tombstone. Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, the Earp brothers coming together to go against the ruthless cowboys in Tombstone, Arizona. Amazing movie. Great movie. Seen it so many times. Love it. If it's on TV, I stop and watch it. And my favorite tagline from the whole thing is Doc Holliday coming up at the end to face Johnny Ringo in their duel. And, Johnny Ringo, he doesn't see that it's Doc Holliday. He looks up and goes, "Wow, I didn't think you'd show." And then all of a sudden you see Val Kilmer lean his head back, and it's Doc Holliday. He goes, "I'm your Huckleberry." And then all of a sudden it's on. Johnny Ringo's like, "Well, wait, the fight's not with you." And Val Kilmer, man, he should have won an award. He's holding his cigarette. He goes, "I beg to differ, sir. We started a fight that we never finished."
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Right. And so, I don't know. It was just so classic, so classic. Now, I will say that the Kevin Costner version of Wyatt Earp was great as well, but nowhere near as awesome as Tombstone. And then number one for me, you already know what it is.
Godfather.
Godfather. Now, Godfather 2 I love, but Godfather 1 is just so amazing. Just watching Italian heritage back in the late or mid to late 40s and then into the 50s and early 60s and such, but really the 50s. It was just so well done, and I've seen that movie so many times. I've introduced Dom to it. My wife, she seems, every time she sees it, it's at the wedding scene or at the end where people are dying and such. So it's, what?
Best line, "Leave the gun, take the cannolis."
Yeah, that's one of the great lines.
Don't you have a shirt that says that?
I do.
Yeah.
And then the other great line that I love is, "I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse."
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yep. Or Luca Brasi. Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes.
Yes, that was a great one, too.
That's a good one, too. So, anyway, I love The Godfather. Plus, it also shows the importance of family and how you rally around your family. Also, how you are stoic, even not just stoic, but how you keep your mind, your clarity, and you keep yourself humble when it comes to like tough times in your family as well. So, just so many different neat parts from The Godfather, and I love showing it to people, and I love it when other people get to watch it. So, anyway, that was my top 5. If you don't like it, tell me about it. All right, Dom, let's give you your top 5.
All right, so my top 5.
Oh, wait, can you
definitely
be done? How about you be done stretching and yawning first?
Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
It took a long time to go through yours.
Okay, bring it.
So
number
my
5.
top 5 is going to be very different from yours.
Shocker.
So with number 5, I have Avengers Endgame.
All right, that's a great movie.
It was just a great movie.
I just said that.
I know.
Oh.
I'm repeating it because this is my list.
Okay.
I didn't destroy your list. You're not going to destroy mine.
We'll see about that. Okay, come on.
Okay.
It is a great movie.
A good movie. I can't think of who directs it. But I know Kevin Feige is like the head of Marvel.
Okay, whatever. He's probably Kevin Feige. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But it was a good movie. So many different characters, cameos, Easter eggs, and point back to every other Marvel movie. Really well done.
Very well done. And great scenes at the end, all throughout. Great fight scenes. Very unique Easter eggs throughout it. I think one of my favorite Easter eggs of the whole thing is when Cap is fighting Cap. So
that was
Captain American's fighting Captain America.
Yeah.
So.
All right, number 4, movie directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Christian Bale, Morgan Freeman, and what's the other guy who plays Alfred?
I don't know.
Oh, The Dark Knight.
Who was in it?
Morgan Freeman.
Oh,
Christopher
okay.
Nolan.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
The Batman movie.
Yes.
Got it.
With Christian Bale.
Okay.
It's has to be my favorite Batman movie.
All right. I'll agree with that one.
Very good.
Not Batman Begins?
That one's good, but Dark Knight was just so much better.
Yeah, Dark Knight was pretty strong.
Joker made it for me.
All right.
Heath Ledger did a really good job getting into that character, as crazy as he was.
Yeah, crazy is a good way to say it.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 3, the first Avatar movie.
Okay. That's a great movie.
Directed by James Cameron.
Mm-hmm. That guy just prints money.
Literally.
But okay.
Titanic, Avatar.
The Abyss, Avatar 2.
Are like the top 4 movies, grossing wise.
I think top 3. Out of the top 4 grossing movies of all time, he has 3 of them.
Yep.
So.
Because Endgame is up there.
Okay, but he didn't do Endgame.
I know. Number 2 is actually a movie that I watched recently. It is The Prestige.
Amazing.
With Hugh Jackman, Christian Bale, and then the other guy. I can't think of his name.
That's okay.
Also directed by Christopher Nolan. Great movie.
What's it about?
It's about magic, and The Prestige is actually the ending scene of a magic show. And the story was great.
The climatic event.
So
right?
many twists and turns that I did not expect. That when I watch it again, I'm gonna have to.
If you haven't seen The Prestige, I truly and highly recommend it.
Yeah.
But we won't say anything because we don't want to ruin.
Yeah.
The Prestige.
If we say anything about it, it's gonna ruin the entire thing. And my number 1, directed by Steven Spielberg, Ready Player One.
Are you serious? Mm-hmm. That's it? Ready Player One?
Yes.
No Star Wars in here.
I already gave my Star Wars list.
But this is your all-time
I know.
favorites.
Ready Player One has its reasons, and I'm going to give them to you.
Okay, go ahead.
Here's 3 reasons. The soundtrack.
All right.
By far the best soundtrack in any movie.
Well,
all 80s music.
okay. Well, all right.
Has some good songs.
Okay.
Just the entire story was amazing. The actors who were in it. I mean, Steven Spielberg directed it. Any movie by Steven Spielberg is amazing.
Okay. All right. Keep going.
Just over, and it was a
Like,
book.
all right.
That was
So
made into
the
a
first thing
movie.
would be the soundtrack. The second thing was the actors, and then the third thing, your third reason,
Steven Spielberg as the director.
Steven Spielberg as a director. Okay.
One of my favorite directors of all time, next to Christopher Nolan.
And
And
George
James-
Lucas.
George Lucas and James Cameron.
Okay.
And James Gunn. He does some pretty.
Ready Player One.
Yes. It's about a video game. A guy named Holiday, I don't know his first name, James Holiday or something, creates this video game universe called The Oasis, and it's a virtual reality, and it takes place in 2050 or something. So it's in the future, but
Okay.
and then just right into it. Starts off with Jump by Van Halen,
Okay.
and it's just such a good movie.
I actually haven't seen that.
It's one I think you would enjoy. The amount of Easter eggs from Back to the Future, like any movie that took place 70s and 80s, there's a reference to.
Every movie that was made in the 70s.
Almost.
You're crazy.
They mentioned so many movies.
Probably the best, most popular movies, but not every movie.
Back to the Future.
Was not the only movie done in the 70s and 80s.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of good movie references and Easter eggs.
Okay.
Of TV shows, movies.
That's your number 1?
Yes, it was.
All right, look,
movie.
I don't want to smash your list.
Oh my gosh, but you're going to.
I've never heard you talk about it once. At least my movie, out of the 5 movies I had, you picked 4 of them. You knew what 4 of them were. I could see some of those on there, but... All right, Ready Player One. I guess I need to see it. Now, I know you have some honorable mentions, because I have some honorable
Absolutely.
mentions. All right, give me a couple of your honorable mentions.
Okay. Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that's a great one. Any others?
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2. All right, my honorable mentions, The Count of Monte Cristo, done with Guy Pearce and that other guy. I can't think of his name either, but it was just so well done. And also, Godfather 2, like I already mentioned, and all the Jawses. No, Jaws 4 was terrible, but
The Revenge, crappy movie.
yeah, that was terrible. But
Back to the Future is on my honorable
Back
mention.
to the Future. Star Wars, we already went through our Star Wars movie list and such, but just the series of Star Wars is great.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, Return of the
All
King,
3 of them
incredible.
are honorable mentions for me.
Yeah, so
Jurassic
many.
Park.
We already said Back to the Future.
Right.
How many times are you going to go Back to the Future? How about we go in the past? Okay. Back to the past? Back to the Future.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
All right, anyway. And another honorable mention is like a lot of the sports movies, but we might do a top list of that down the road, but we're not going to do that right now.
All right.
All right. Any other movies you want to add to that?
Actually, it would take all day.
All right.
There's so many.
Let's keep going in reverse.
All right. Welcome to Dom and the Coach.
There you go. So, Dom, did you hear about Steve Harvey and his wife having an argument?
No.
They said it was a family feud.
That's crazy. That's good.
That might be one of my best so far.
That is your, out of the 11 that I've heard, that is your second best.
Second best. All right.
That's a freebie was number one.
No, yeah, that's a freebie. All right, look, in all serious and all joking aside and everything, we just appreciate everybody listening to us and for 11 episodes and such, and we really appreciate and love you all. Comment, like, hit subscribe, and tell your friends about us, pass it along, and we love you guys, and we're very thankful for all of you listening and such. And our dogs are made an appearance, which is nice and cute. So we love you guys. Anything else, Tom?
Mm-mm.
All right.